Yeah, a lot of us have very major concerns about this proposed wind farm. So the radar station in Woodcock Hill, and I'm a Meelick man all my life. It's part and parcel of what our community is about. We know it affectionately as the golf ball, but that is critically important to transatlantic air travel. 1.2 million flights last year alone depended on the Woodcock Hill radar station operating effectively and safely. And these aren't just flights touching down in Shannon. Well, they're the ones we like most of all. But flights that pass over Irish skies to continental Europe, 1.2 million flights per annum, and that's millions of passengers when you look at what those planes are carrying. We need that to be operating safely. The concerns we were outlining at the oral hearing are that that radar station sends off little pinged signals. They go up into the sky, they bounce off the airplane, and they help an air traffic controller to position with full accuracy down to the millisecond where that aircraft is in the sky. Now, if you start building wind turbines in close proximity to this radar station, the rotating blades can reflect some of those signals. They can distort, they can give shadow effect. So what you then end up with, instead of having this lovely clean screen in air traffic control where you know where every aircraft is, suddenly the whole thing becomes cluttered, it becomes distorted. And this isn't just my opinion, this is the opinion of the experts in AirNav Ireland and the Irish Aviation Authority. Quite simply, I don't think it's safe to have turbines close to radar.
And in response, I know Ballycar Green Energy Limited said that there was a viable solution to these issues that were raised in terms of impact on radar. Did they give an indication of what these solutions might look like?
Yeah, so they've given various things have been looked at. They've been locked into negotiations now for many months with AirNav Ireland. So AirNav Ireland have over 300 people out in Shannon who are experts on air navigation, radar, avionics, radio signals, and they've looked at all sorts of mitigation measures. The applicants are convinced that they can come up with measures, but what I heard loud and clearly at the oral hearing was that the aviation experts in Ireland, i.e. AirNav, they're saying that the mitigations just don't work for them. And for that reason, they are looking for this to be refused. Now, many people, when wind farms become divisive in all communities, and I'm very cognizant of that as well down home. But this is quite different to, you go back to other communities, and it might be they're too tall, they're ugly in the landscape, we don't want them near our homes. So you do have those concerns in Meelick, but what you really have here, which is the overarching thing here now in the oral hearing, is there's a major, major aviation safety concern, and that is unique here to this wind farm application. And maybe some more in East Clare might fall under this net as well. But really, there's an important decision to be made here. Are the applicants, Ballycar Green Energy and our An Coimisiún Pleanala, are they prepared to grant this planning and in doing so underwrite the safety of air passengers? Or will they do the right thing and just say, you know what, there's too many question marks here, there's uncertainty. And when it comes to air safety, you need absolute certainty all the time that systems are safe and operational. There's no space here for what ifs and maybes. And in my belief, we've too many what ifs and maybes with this proposal. I think it needs to be refused, and that's my personal opinion. And I gave testimony to that effect at the oral hearing.
And yeah, as I said, they think there is these viable solutions in terms of the height of the turbines themselves, but their argument as well is also that the economic, or rather environmental benefit that these turbines would have in terms of the energy they produce.
Yeah, there's no doubt that turbines, they have a place in the landscape, and they do help in terms of producing electricity and reducing greenhouse gas emissions. That's indisputable. But I would say, and I actually made this point at the oral hearing, whatever the environmental advantages are, they cannot, in anyone's imagination, they cannot outweigh and trump the whole idea of safety. Safety has to come first here. We have to be certain that the Woodcock Hill radar is safe, that the glide path of aircraft landing in Shannon is safe, that planes can land in Shannon, planes can fly over our skies safely. What I've heard is they were on about the buzzwords like conceptual realities. The words maybe were used. I think so. Those answers for me do not cut it. We need to hear when it comes to aviation safety that it is safe. It is certain to be safe. And all of the evidence I've seen so far in this planning case, and all of the evidence I've heard at the oral hearing, would suggest to me that this isn't 100% safe. And when there's any shadow of a doubt here, I don't think An Coimisiún Pleanala can grant planning. Some people I know jump on this, and they I've gotten a bit of flack sometimes on social media. Sometimes I get support on social media. But if people don't believe my word on this, they should listen to what AirNav Ireland had to say, and all of their testimony is available for people to view online. They are the experts. The buck stops with them. They are the experts, and they have said categorically they do not believe this is safe. So on that basis alone, it would be ludicrous to grant planning.
And is it a case, I suppose, if they were able to find a way to reduce the heights of the turbines while still making them viable in terms of their energy output, and so that they didn't ping on the radar, is that feasible, or is it something that you'd be happy to see go ahead then, or is it a case of this site in particular, it probably should be a no-go area for wind turbines?
Yeah, I actually think this is a no-go area. I think Clare County Council are going to have to remove their zonings on this as well. Now their hands are tied. We find planners in Clare County Council, they're only following national guidelines and things. But the more I've looked into this, I don't know of any radar which has turbines of this scale and magnitude surrounding it. And I don't think, if it hasn't happened anywhere in the world yet, why should County Clare become the test laboratory for air safety? We have an unblemished record in terms of air safety, and why would we be allowing that to be questioned in any way or compromised in any way, I should say, by putting turbines around it? The other point I honed in on at the oral hearing was it's a big bugbear of mine. I've raised it in Dáil debates, and I will continue to raise it. We have state-funded, taxpayers, expert advisory bodies on aviation safety. They are Irish Aviation Authority and AirNav Ireland. They've no other skin in the game except air safety. And yet in this case, An Coimisiún Pleanala went beyond the jurisdiction of Ireland. They hired in aviation consultants from Britain at huge cost, I'm sure, and I'm trying to find out what that cost is. But I take great umbrage with that, because when the aviation expert in Ireland says it's unsafe, that should be it. Refuse the planning. There should be no more consideration. And I think it's quite ludicrous. In fact, I think it's undermining of our aviation experts in Ireland that they bypassed them. They went off and they got a British agency, paid them lots of money. And I'm hoping to raise this in the Dáil again in the next week or two to establish how all of this happened. I think that is a bit of a subplot to all of this debate we're having, but it's one that should matter to taxpayers.